Wow. I love the 1980s. You know, the greatest thing the 1980s produced was me. After me, though, I had to say it was probably this movie we're about to review right here. Probably. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It depends on the day of the week. But this day, today, I have to say it's this movie. This is what we're watching.
Every person in this room has the perfect motive.
Stand back!
For murder.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer. Is it the timid Mr. Green or the militant Colonel Mustard? Mrs. White, who helped her husband on his way. Miss Scarlet. Professor Plum. Mrs. Peacock. Clue. It's not just a game anymore.
You know, I was supposed to say, let's start the show. Then that intro was supposed to play after the little trailer there. Anyway, my bad. Welcome to another edition of Unpopular Review Entertainment. I am the executive consultant, and I think we've been saying this for 5 years now. I am not alone. I actually have two other people you saw in that intro with me today. Let's bring them in one at a time. The first person knows he's not going first because he knows that's the answer of the question that I asked him. And that person is not Rimshot, is Mike Knox. What is going on, Mr. Knox? How are you feeling this afternoon?
I am excited because the 80s didn't birth me, but I was a child in the 80s. And unfortunately, you were born in the 80s, so was this movie. So a lot of great things came out of the 80s. Can't wait to talk about Clue.
I'm glad you acknowledged the fact that I'm great. That's probably the most positive thing you ever said about the executive consultant. Let's bring somebody else who's going to say something positive on me. Rimshot, get on in here. What's going on?
As a child of the 90s, it is good to be on with my elders tonight. I thank you all for your wisdom and service to this country.
I swore we were born the same year.
Let me show respect. Didn't we just have the holiday? Listen, I want to thank my elders, veterans, okay? As a child of the 90s, I did not grow up watching this movie, but here I am, brought back into it because of Chris, his pick for a 1980s movie clip.
Shout out to Indigenous People Day. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Clue, which is based off a board game, a very popular board game. Actually, it wasn't. But people knew about this game, and I actually played it because of this movie. This movie I have always found fantastic. Ironically, I didn't even know this movie existed till I was in my teens, and I just happened to be to watch it because it was on some station, AMC or something. And I said, hey, this movie's pretty damn funny. And all-star cast, especially for the 1980s, in this movie, playing some really, really good characters. And, the twists and the turns at the end proves why it was called Clue. And I mean, I just appreciate everything about this movie. I remember one of my exes, I know so many of them, used to love this movie because I loved it so much, and really appreciated her for appreciating how well this movie is. It's one of my favorite parts about the ex. Because that was one of my favorite exes because she liked this movie. Anyway, long story short, love this movie. I'm the executive consultant. That's my 2 cents. This comes to the synopsis about somebody, a group of people come together because they were being blackmailed by a gentleman named Mr. Body. Mr. Body wanted the butler killed because he's the one that brought them together. Long story short, Mr. Body ends up dead. We got to figure out who did it. Along the way, other people end up dead. We have to figure out who did it, where, and with what, so to speak, and a lot of twists and turns along the way in this movie. We'll start off with you, Mr. Mike Knox. I'm sorry, not your thumbs up, thumbs down. What you liked and what you disliked about this movie. Go ahead, Fuzz.
First of all, I'm gonna do one of your jobs tonight. You're wrong. This was a very popular board game. Over 150 million sold. The board game is the reason why this movie got made, because the lover of the director and the writer of the movie loved the board game. And if you played the board game, this movie makes it make all the sense in the world. What's good about this movie is exactly that. It's clearly the cast in this movie. And you look at how they come in later. I mean, just anybody from the era of Laverne and Shirley. Okay, you give me Mr. Green, okay, who played Lenny any day of the week. Laverne and Shirley, Shamil Shamazel, all that good stuff is about this movie. I mean, this is the you watch this. It's like we did E.T. last week. Doing our celebrity to the 80s. And I'm an 80s kid. Like I said, that's just my favorite time for movies. And I remember I made my kids come in here. I wanted to make my kids come in here and watch Clue. But I also remember that as a child, I didn't like this movie so much. It was cool, but I didn't quite get it. As an adult, it's a very, very enjoyable movie. A lot of laughs, a lot of things involved in this movie. Going to talk about a little bit more later in the program. Go to Rim Shot next. What you like, what you don't like, if you like.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vic is on the way. He is running a little bit behind. First things first, sorry I couldn't be on last week. I was trying to make it, had a medical emergency. I got a little bit of action going on right there. But what did I think about Mac and Me? Mac and Me, I enjoyed better than E.T. Now, I know it's not a 1980s movie, but when I was watching E.T., I said to myself, why am I watching this? And then I remembered, Vic, thank you very much for your pick. As for this one, I am delighted that Chris enjoys it so much because I can't wait to crap on it. Yes, I'm going to crap on this movie much the way Chris crapped on mine when I picked Weird Science, okay? I'm watching this movie. Never seen it before, as Chris said. I haven't seen it. I had heard about it. Everybody keeps telling me, and maybe that's the problem. And Chris, can you cue up the Batman poster for me? Because everybody talks about this movie so much, and I hear about it, and maybe that's unfair to the movie. Right finger.
I'm sorry. Was that the one?
No, right finger, wrong title. But everybody hyped this movie up, and I'm waiting for it. I finally have to watch it. Chris pulls that trigger. I don't get it. But shout out again to Chris for this. This month's theme is 1980s, and Chris picks a movie that takes place in the 1950s. Only Chris would do whatever he wants, even though we've all agreed, hey, 1980s. Chris says, sure, 1954. So shout out to you, Chris, and this movie. I will say they had a lot of rim shots. There were funny parts in this movie. The one I saw, they gave all the alternate endings in the end and everything like that. More on that later. But after a while, it just got to be too much for me, and it meandered. And I think that's what pulled it down a grade. But the first, arguably, hour, I did enjoy, and I'll give it credit for that. That's right, the Mike Knox Show, Mac and Me. Now, but more than Mac and Me, I enjoyed Flight of the Navigator. That's a real callback. Okay, and I am the Navigator.
That's a great movie though. Now, Flight of the Navigator is great. Still not better than Last Starfighter.
Okay, I've seen that like once. I think I've seen that once. But when I was at MGM Studios on the backlot tour, they had the ship from Flight of the Navigator, and I got to take a picture in front of that. That was pretty cool. While we wait for Vic, by the way, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, he phone banks for George Santos in New York. If you're up there and you want to support the George Santos campaign like Vic does, you can give him a call or contact him via his email. He'll put it up on the screen later in tonight's show. But those are the preliminary thoughts. Chris, did you have anything else?
This movie, good and the bad. The bad is not much. The good is everything. The casting of this movie is fantastic. From Professor Plum to Miss Scarlet right there, to Miss White, to Mr. Green, even Mr. Body. Everybody, Colonel Mustard was really good in this movie. Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you. You're reestablishing faith in everything that I believe in. I'll say that. It was funny from beginning.
Charmaine likes nothing. She likes this.
Ding dong, you're wrong. From the moment where Professor Plum picked up Miss Scarlet all the way to the end when I told you I didn't do it, it was just really, really well played and well done in the house, and the fact that it resembles so much of the board game. Yes, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. I understand the fundamentals of it, and you can jot it down all you want. But I'm just telling you that it was very, very well done. The joking, the timing, all the innuendos. I forgot about again. I just watched this movie the other night, and I'll probably watch it again tonight. That's how much I love this movie. Yvette. and her role in this movie, everything just tied together. And now I'm just rambling on because I want to hear Vic show up and tell us why he likes this movie. He says I'm on the way, and he's not on his way. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to play a quick commercial when I come back. Hopefully Vic will be here, and then he can say his parts, and then we'll go into the next segment. Stay with us. It's an impromptu break simply because it's the holidays. Forgive us. We'll be back. You're watching Unpopular Review.
So once upon a time when I was a young man, right? So you couldn't fast forward nothing. You had to just deal with
I remember
what was
those
on.
days.
You remember. So I had to sit. Oh, man. Okay, boom. Oh, man, Powerpuff Girls are on. I can't wait to watch that. But you had to sit through a freaking hour of Scooby-Doo to get to Powerpuff Girls. So I had to suffer. And I had to watch these idiots. These guys who knew that these guys were humans in costumes. I had to see these guys running their stupid attire, especially Fred, because what was that thing around his neck? What was that, a scarf? Terrible fashion. Hated them all. And I had to deal with this. And then they had a spinoff just to make me even angrier. So when you guys look at me and you go, and everyone, a few, oh my God, Scooby-Doo meets Hollywood. Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. There was a dog called Scooby-Dum. Why was there a Scooby-Dum? There was just so many of these spinoffs. And they kept going.
I liked one or two versions of it, but that's about it.
They kept going. They made a movie. And then I knew, what was this band called? I forget what they're called. Simple Plan. And then they were singing. I said, this thing is still going. Oh my God. And they're still going. Right now, there's a Velma show. And the Shaggy Black. Yeah. So when people ask me, why are you so angry? It's just not because I was born angry. That might be a part of it because I didn't ask to be here. But then there's all these spin-offs of Scooby-Doo. There's like a universe of Scooby-Doo. Why are we doing this?
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work.
Lay off the weed. You're celebrating the fact that you watched the Powder Puff Girls.
First of all, Powerpuff Girls are way better than Scooby-Doo.
Over Scooby. Are you insane in the membrane?
Powerpuff Girls are way better than Scooby-Doo. That's one. Number two, only Rimshot down there will be like, who are these people? Like, he doesn't see them on the the title intro coming.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I didn't see anything.
Okay. Well, anyway, bottom line is they're there. We're joined by Vic. Vic, you're a little late, but that's fine. How you doing with your new move? You good? New studios there? Yeah. It looks like you did just wake up. Good morning.
Just trying to
he's lagged. All right, so real quick.
Shout out to your vampire curtains in the background.
Real quick.
Appreciate that.
What are your best of, worst of for this movie, The Clue?
Worst of is just that it dragged out, and the thing is, I avoided that game because it always felt like it was going to be boring, but then the watching the movie, it made it a little bit more exciting, but then it kind of just dragged out. So, my best part was honestly anything with the butler, because the butler was just hilarious. That guy was just too funny. But unfortunately, when I was watching the movie, I was half asleep. You know what I mean? So there's a lot.
Was it 2 hours ago?
Yeah.
I can tell. I can definitely tell.
So yeah. The movie did kind of put me to sleep for a little bit, but I was having a good time. I was laughing it up. Because
go ahead,
because a lot of the political innuendos, especially when they were talking about how J. Edgar Hoover is listening to everybody's phones, I found that to be hilarious. So that was, I guess that's my best stuff. That was funny, and but other than that, it was just, I just felt like it was long.
Yeah, at an hour and 24 minutes, this movie ranked at.
But to tell you. But to be honest with you, if you look back at it, this cast is crazy. This cast is kind of star-studded. Therefore, it's pretty cool. To the people that actually play the game and spend the time. I'm sure that they popped for this and appreciated this when it came out, because I never played the game. I wonder, if the game will put me to sleep too. But it was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
Am I going to be able to be live for a first ever Vic thumbs down? The anticipation is killing me on this one.
He's had a thumbs down before, and you said, I can't believe it. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
It's like
he gave me a thumbs down. He gave me a thumbs down.
He did.
I remember.
Weird Science was great, though.
Yeah, sure.
So
give it a thumbs up.
With the ranking of with the mouth and the dirty titty and all that was next.
You know what, Vic?
It's in the past, Vic. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You missed it where James was pretty much giving ET a thumbs down.
I found that boring.
That's I didn't take
because
that.
I watched it when I was younger, but it never, people talk about that magic, so I watched it again, in preparation for last week. I meant to be on, but it never captured me. And even the whole alien aesthetic, I thought that he did better if we're going to go around the same time frame. We're closer talking about Spielberg with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I thought the magic and the anticipation of the alien encounter, as opposed to E.T. or compared to E.T., was better realized in that film. With E.T., I just found it kind of rudimentary. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to take away from any talent that went into that, but it just didn't do anything for me.
We're watching Clue, but there are two different movies, Third Encounter, and E.T.'s made to be a family heartfelt movie between a kid and an awkward kid and an alien friend. More Close
Chris, what's your
Encounters
opinion on kids again
movie.
that aren't yours?
Oh, I don't like kids.
There you go. That's my answer to you, Mike. But as far as magic, Spielberg magic with aliens, I give it to Close Encounters. That one, if you compare those two, you know what I mean? And that had a family in it. What are you talking about? They had a family. They were there. They were the ones having the Close Encounters.
One's a sci-fi film. One's a family movie.
Both of them are sci-fi. You ain't never seen no E.T. look like that coming down to nobody's backyard.
With Clue.
But in this movie, let's go to our quotables. If anybody has any quotables.
I have a quote.
Oh, God. I don't want to hear this. Does anybody else have a quote?
He called it. Let the man go. Give the man his shine.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Charmaine has something to say. Let's put you some respect on the screen, okay? How are you gonna see the movie that's on Thanksgiving this I will?
Excuse me. Hold on. I gotta put this in Google Translate. Miss White is hot.
Miss White is hot.
Miss White is the second hottest woman in this movie. Third hottest, I'm sorry.
Chris and I are gonna agree.
We're going to say we're all going to obviously say it was the maid, right?
I would love, yeah.
Okay. If that is by far.
Speaking of which, let me go to my quotes. Also, my best stuff. The best things in this movie. And Mike, you called me a chauvinist. Here we go. Colleen Camp's cleavage. Okay, the way they set her up in that French maid outfit. Phenomenal. She looked fantastic. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? And she was supposed to be ogled, and I did what I was supposed to do because I follow instruction. Secondly, though, and I thought arguably just as hot, if we're going to use that colloquialism, I think it's used too much though, is Leslie Ann Warren as Miss Scarlet. I found her to be very attractive and seductive, and it played well to the characters that both of them were supposed to be. And I actually, all joking aside, I thought that they were the highlights more than the butler, more than the other characters, though the cast is stellar. I thought those two did a great performance because every time they were on screen, beyond the obvious reasons superficially, I thought that they embodied, no pun intended, their respective roles. Charmaine is hating on all men collectively. She says those men are ugly.
The men are ugly. Mike, did you have a quotable?
Actually, I do. I have a few, actually. Right, Professor Plum, what are you afraid of? A fate worse than death? She said, no, just death. Isn't that enough? Like, this movie is great in a lot of aspects. Like I said, I played the game. It is... you play Monopoly, it's long. I think Monopoly can tend to be boring if you've played it enough times. Despite stealing people's money, whatever the case may be, it's a long, drawn-out game. Clue's not that long as Monopoly is. So, for me, Clue has different variables in it, and the brilliance in this movie to me is exactly like at the end of the film when they're like, "This is how it happened. This is how it could have happened. This is how it really happened." You know, and I thought that in the film in itself was in its comedy in it. Them running from room to room, them finally acknowledging that they're running from room to room for no apparent reason. Like, okay, I'm getting tired here. Like, just say it already. And he's like, I got to do it. It's just like I'm sitting here watching it, and I'm really, really highly enjoying this film. And I'm sorry, I look back at the 80s. Whoever picked this category, shout out to you, because the 80s rule.
You're welcome.
And so far, this is ruling anything we've done on Unpopular Review thus far as months are concerned. Cannot go wrong in the 80s, in my opinion. This movie did not go wrong as well. But did I like it today? Thumbs up, thumb down, we'll sign out. Vic, you had a quotable there? You with us? I know you've been traveling.
No. I got no quotable because you
didn't finish
Can
watching.
y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
No, it's much, but like, all right, no, it's just internet is my internet is slow because there's Modern Warfare going on. But
okay, he's over there playing Modern
yeah,
Warfare.
It was good.
Gotcha.
Vic,
I got no quotes.
Vic, can you do me a favor? Can you spin the top on the table and see if it stops spinning? That's a little Inception joke. You awake? You need 5 minutes, Vic? You got that Bustelo?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I got mine right here. I'm not hating. You can't see it. I'm not hating. I needed that picture.
Oh, man.
No, again, I'm gonna give it to the cast, taking nothing away. Charmaine, yes, that's right. That's Tim Curry. He was the I don't know what you would call him at the hotel at the Plaza in New York in Home Alone 2, but that is who that was. Also Pennywise, also the original casted voice of the Joker before Mark Hamill took it over. Shout out to him and all his.
Iago. I mean, Gilbert Gottfried's. I mean, not Gilbert. Tim Curry's been in a lot of things. I say Iago for some reason, but Tim Curry's been in a lot of things. Muppet, Treasure Island.
Oh, he was the Joker.
Hey, Vic.
All right, and Christopher Lloyd's in this movie.
Yep.
All right, so that's I know I mentioned Michael McKeenan, but
can we watch that? I'm sorry, Mike. Can we watch that clip one more time?
They saw this one.
That was you a second ago.
That was definitely Vic. That was definitely Vic.
You were not here. What's up? Thumbs up, thumbs down. What's going on with this?
No. I didn't say my quotables.
Okay, what's your quotable?
One thing, and it's one thing. That's really what it was. What they were like. There's only one thing I was saying. One thing. It's just always like that. I feel like there's more, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to come in the chat and we'll see. So after we come back, we'll talk about final thumbs up and thumbs down. We'll be right back. You're watching Unpopular Reviews.
And mind you, here's the thing. Here's the other thing. But you know what I mean. Nobody's bomb. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. So like, you know what I mean. It's not. You know what I mean. So clear. You know what I mean. The other. You know. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Come on. You know. Yeah. You know what I mean. And you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Thumbs up, man. Thumbs up. I talk too much. Sorry.
Good morning. Good morning.
I always hate that clip. You see me eating I remember that night. I had a big ass burger. I was drunk. I had a whole ass Wendy's burger. I was drunk as hell that night. It was me, him, and E Boogie. Oh, there it is. I ain't gonna do my mans like that, yo. Come on. Where we going? What's your quotables, man? Come on, man. What's your quotables?
We're on final thoughts.
All right.
Final thoughts. All right, thumbs up.
How you give it a thumbs up? I'm sorry, yo. How you give this a thumbs up? You didn't even watch the film.
Now let's not argue with this pick.
Okay. I thought you went to sleep. My biz ass.
No, look, I've been up since 2, so
no, I get it. I'm just asking. Yo, I ain't picking on the sleeping part. It's the fact I thought you didn't see the movie.
Hey, Vic.
The movie was.
A question. Who did it?
Huh?
Who did it? Who killed Mr. Body? It was what?
It was the person, the guy.
Oh my god!
I got you, dog. I got you. You ain't gonna let you go out like that, dog. I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you.
Who did it? It's a simple question. Who did it? Who killed Mr. Body? Stop trying to give a clue.
I'm trying to help you out, yeah. Just say it already.
He doesn't know his name.
It's very simple. The butler did it.
That's not his name.
Oh my god!
Technically, the butler didn't do it. He killed his butler.
Oh god! He could have came up with almost anything and made it work. It's cool. It's cool. All right, rim shot on you. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Well, let me just say the final thoughts. It's not called thumbs up, thumbs down segment, but final thoughts. Shout out to that black cop who was standing in the rain, because when they did that medium close up on him, he reminded me of that James Brown meme where he's sweating and he looks like a thing of ribs. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
It's a thing of ribs.
That's what that cop looked like in the rain. He just looked like a mess of ribs. And I said, they didn't have no black person doing the lighting on this movie, because he just looked like a thing of wet ribs. But thumbs up, thumbs down. Listen, I am not a vengeful person like Vic, like Chris, okay? And I give movies a rating based on what their merits. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Now, when Chris picked Clue, I had never played the game. Okay, I saw Dungeons and Dragons, which did make the movie, which did make me want to play the game because I enjoyed that so much. Okay, but when he picked this movie, and then I began to watch it, and the movie continued to go on and 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 on, I said to myself, Chris, thumbs up to you for helping me win so easily the 1980s prize. 3 months in a row, the champion, and tonight is no different. This movie gets a. I'm sorry, Vic. What? This movie gets a thumbs down.
Wow.
Listen, if I could, I would. I'd give it a sideways thumb. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't. So it has to be thumbs down. So that's what this movie gets.
Respect to all those who have their opinions, but 3 months in a row you won.
3 months in a row.
I wouldn't say that.
You told me last month that I won the Halloween month.
Well, that was easy. But
the month before that, in September, I won that.
What was September? Just remind me.
That was 2 months ago. We're in November.
Right. So I don't remember you winning in September, is all I'm trying to say. However, this film right here, I'm going to still, when I say I'm going to be like Christian Day, it's going to be like this, guys. All right. So I'm not a Sundance guy, right? I don't understand Sundance film. Just say it was Bay night, me and the wife. Right? And we sat and we watched this movie because I thought the cast would be great because it had the Glover from Lethal Weapon and it had Aang the Destroyer, Mr. Majors. The Last Man in San Francisco. Is it better than that? Well, I think that's the worst movie ever made in the world with the greatest acting I've ever seen. If that makes any sense, go watch the film. Just wanted to put that out there. It's a horrible movie, makes no sense, but the acting is amazing in this film. But Clue, it's easy for me. It's a thumbs up. It was a sideways as a child, as you would say, like stick it somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. You know what I mean? But today, watching it, I think it's a good family film. I think it's a good crime feature. I think it's a good, it's a good comedic thing. I love the casting. I love the pace of the film, as you guys say on. I thought it was a very quick and moving film, in my opinion. I looked at it also, and I thought it was very funny. You wrote it up once. I'm reminded of Rimshot of it's supposed to be an 80s film that's clearly taking place somewhere in the 50s. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of funny in that sense. But I just thought overall it was a very good crime thriller, and I do think, but people remember this movie actually flopped.
Yep.
It did not make its money back. Right, it was $150 million budget, only made $146 million. So it did not cover its budget. It lost money, but I think it's a classic. I think it's a cult classic. It's one of the movies that maybe didn't. Scarface bombed at the box office, but people still talk about it to this day, and that's a horrible film, people. Yeah, I said it. Put my face on the screen big all you want to. Scarface is a horrible ass acted film. Okay.
Mike, not to interrupt you. I got a quick question.
You put my face on there.
Okay, French Maid.
Yes.
Or Michelle Pfeiffer in Scarface.
Oh, that's easy. French Maid.
What? No. The beginning when we first meet.
Right. I get that. I never thought Michelle Pfeiffer. She looked like Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man when it was raining. That's what I said.
He's talking crazy. I can't.
No, we're talking about face-wise, and I'm going to go with that. Yes, I'm going to go with. I mean, come on, it's Scarface. It's just a bad movie overall. But Clue, I thought it was good. I think everybody should go watch it. Thumbs up all the way. I think you should own this movie. This is a film that when there is no online, the cloud is dead. This is a DVD you're going to wish you had later on, in my opinion. Executive consultant.
Just to tell you right here what the answer is going to be. Next year, I think we're finally going to get off the Batman, and I'm going to put a picture of James up. And that's going to be determined whether or not it gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Is this movie better than James Best's picks or opinions? Yes, it is. It gets a thumbs up every single time. And him to think that he won this month, no. So I'm going to put a poll up on our Instagram and our Twitter.
Yes.
You can't do that until it's over, though.
Until it's over.
And we're going to find out what you, the UPR universe, feel like was the best movie of the 80s for this month that was picked. And I damn sure guarantee it won't be E.T.
I'm sorry. I picked Hitched in September. I think I beat you. And before that, I picked The Jerk. I still think I beat you.
Well, I can tell you right now.
I wasn't on that one.
Doesn't matter. The Jerk ain't bringing anything.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching us here at Unpopular Reviews. I'm the executive consultant. That is Mike Knox. That is Vic. That is Rimshot.
Hey,
And
come
we
on,
will
shake,
see you
rattle and roll. Come on,
right here
shake, rattle and
on
roll.
Unpopular Reviews. Good night,
Come on,
everybody.
shake, rattle and roll.